Before I tell you why I started a GLP-1 medication, I want to address something. There are a lot of opinions and myths about weight loss medications. Some people still act as if obesity is the result of a lack of willpower.
And now what are people doing? They're taking the shot. It's I don't know, the Hollywood people and everybody's doing it. It makes you sick as hell. I think you get thoughts of suicide, like all the other drugs that they give you. I mean, these new drugs they've got out where people are taking the shot or doing something to lose weight. They get these drugs, but they always say, hey, you may have thoughts of suicide. Now they're doing the shot thing, Ozempic or Zozempic or something like that. Stupid. Slide your butt away from the table. That's all. The problem is what goes in the pie hole.
Okay, but obesity is recognized now as a chronic disease. And in 2026, it's time to stop fat-shaming people for seeking treatment. GLP-1 medications aren't some scary new fad. Versions of these medications have been used for years to treat diabetes, and now they're helping people manage obesity as well. Plus, now that a larger population is taking them, they're discovering that GLP-1s also have positive implications for things like Alzheimer's and cancer. Now, if you don't want to take one, that's perfectly fine. If carnivore works for you, do carnivore. If keto works for you, do keto. If Mediterranean works for you, do Mediterranean. But at some point, we have to stop worrying about how other people are treating their obesity and focus on our own health. What someone else does to pass the test doesn't affect your score. You focus on what works for you, and I'll focus on what works for me. And this works very well for me. People start these medications for different reasons, and here's mine. There was a moment when I realized something had to change. I mean, there are obviously many such moments in my life, but there was one that made me get really serious. My son was graduating with his master's degree, and our family was going to celebrate with him. The ceremony was being held at a large university stadium. Should have been a joyful day, and it was, but for me it was also filled with a lot of anxiety. I knew what most people would see as a simple event was going to be a physical challenge for me. The long walk from the parking lot, the huge stadium entrance, the endless walk around the concourse trying to find our seats, the stairs to get to the seats. At that time, I had to use a walker to get any further than from my car to a door. I had bought that walker because my mobility issues made me avoid life. I was even canceling doctor's appointments because I was afraid that I couldn't make it from my car to the office door. So the walker at least allowed me to keep appointments. But now I was facing a stadium. I had to request accessible seating because I knew I couldn't handle the stairs, and that meant I either sat alone or my family sat with me. Those seats weren't the best view, but my family never complained. They made sure that I could be there. But guys, inside, I was so embarrassed and ashamed. That day, while celebrating my son's achievement, I quietly made a decision of my own, and I said, Lori, you can't keep living like this. I'd tried diets before, so many diets. I knew I needed help, so I started looking into GLP-1 medications. But living on Social Security, cost was a major issue. Medicare wouldn't cover it for me because I didn't have diabetes or sleep apnea. I'll be doing a video on how that's changing, but last year, Medicare wouldn't pay for it. And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of skeptical about GLP-1s. I had gastric bypass surgery 22 years ago, and ever since then, I haven't had what you'd call a normal appetite. So what was the appetite suppression in a GLP-1 gonna do for me? My money is precious, and I couldn't spend money on something that didn't work. But then my son, the same one who had just graduated with his master's degree, told me he was starting a GLP-1 himself. Once he started, I just watched him for a few weeks. It was working, and it was working well. So I took a chance and I ordered from the same telehealth company. Now, it cost me $650 for 3 months worth of medication. That's a lot of money for anybody, but especially for me. But I was going to be spending money one way or the other, right? On food, on discomfort, on missing out, on losing mobility. And for the first time in a long time, something worked. The appetite I thought I didn't really even have quieted down. The constant food noise faded. I had no idea what food noise was or that I had it. And I can explain what that is in another video. But the emotional eating that had been running in the background of my life began to lose its grip. I wasn't fighting myself every minute of every day anymore thinking about food. Since then, I've lost 69 pounds from my highest weight. 62 of those pounds came after starting the GLP-1. And today, as you can see, I can walk without a walker. I'm actually thinking about selling it. That may sound like a small thing to some people, but to me, it feels like I'm getting part of my life back. Now, I know there's a lot of negativity out there about GLP-1 medications. People say it's cheating. They say it's dangerous. They say you should just use willpower. What I can tell you is this. Obesity is not a character flaw. It isn't laziness. It isn't a moral failing. It is a chronic disease, and treating it matters. You treat diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, thyroid disease, cancer, and obesity, it's a disease. It's something you treat just like those other things. And this is where my next chapter has begun. So when people say taking a GLP-1 is cheating, I say, okay, cheating got me my mobility back. Cheating reduced my health risks. Cheating gave me a better chance to be here for the people I love. So yeah, I'm cheating. I'm cheating death.